Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with the Professor of Wrestling.
Cool. We're rolling.
We are rolling. It's a beautiful Sunday.
It is, and it's like we're going back to kind of like what it was.
Right.
Somewhat. I want to keep this going. I don't know about you.
We're making it, and yeah, to answer your question, yes. So how are you doing, Dave?
Hanging in there.
We are the Professors of Wrestling, and we want to be Taco Bell famous. So subscribe to our YouTube page. We are working on new content as we speak. Like the Facebook page. Let us know what you think and provide us with feedback and suggestions. Follow us on Instagram at the Professors of Wrestling, as we are releasing behind-the-scenes content from some of the stuff we go to on the shows. Share it all. Spread the word. Join in the discussion. We want to be a community.
We do. And now we just jump right into what smattering of news that we have.
Yeah. Kick it off.
All right. Georgia Independent Professional Wrestling, which runs out of Macon, Georgia, has just recently partnered with Boot and Heel to stream all of their events on Fight TV. Their last event of the year will be December 6th, so they're filming up in Macon, I think at the Thirsty Turtle on that. If you have like a Roku, or what are some of the other ones?
If you just have internet.
Internet. Okay, I stream mine on. I got a Roku at home, so I'm fancy. So like any of the streaming services, you can download it for free.
Right, or it's a website too.
Yeah.
So you can just go on there and watch it that way.
I just like to sit at home in my comfortable chair with a beverage.
Makes sense.
And watch it. So you can watch it. I think those are pretty free. Those are the GIPW events have been free.
That's the one I saw last week. Was
the October one?
October, yeah.
So yes, so check that out. That's exciting news, and man, I can't wait to get back up there once things kind of settle down.
Yeah, definitely want to go back. And after seeing that last show, it was a great show.
It was.
Some news. You got us. Thunder Rosa, will she be going to AEW? Maybe.
I don't know. And I threw this. I know we're supposed to cover local stuff, but we were big NWA Power fans.
Yeah.
And they kind of we talked about that. WWE and AEW are looking for, but she popped up on the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
On the AEW pay-per-view. So.
You definitely see, which was sad because it leads to this whole news is. A lot of these bigger independent promotions, they're getting folded. You see those stars moving
to
AEWs or the WWEs, and I watch a lot of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And then, so that's where...
You have Impact, and you have MLW also still going.
Right, with Logan Creed going strong with the MLW. So it makes you wonder, like, what's going to happen if all of these superstars that were on the independent circuit make that move.
And I felt NWA Power was probably, to me, the most exciting as far as storylines, as far as like the wrestlers, as far as like great promos in there. And it really felt like big time wrestling on an independent level.
And one of the things, I guess how we talk about it and connect it to where we are with our own, it gave the chance for local area wrestlers.
Yeah.
To be a part of their own show. You saw the competitions for those who wanted to get an NWA contract.
Yeah.
And without that kind of platform to be able for that wide variety of people to see.
I think you were seeing also like you're seeing Ricky Starks, who we saw do promos and kill it in the ring, right. And then get signed to AEW and just continue to kill it. The same thing with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston killed it, and it was just cool to be in that kind of small environment and watch it. I think that's maybe why I don't want to speak for you on this, but why I really like going and seeing like these small local regional promotions is you can start to see that, and we see that in some of the younger talent. We talk about it off mic,
right? Because what is it? David Ali has been on AEW. Catalina Perez had a match on AEW Dark, and both of them, AEW Dark are...
Like Colt Cabana?
Made the switch. So that's where, I guess, the worry is of how long can, I guess, a general question to the people who are listening, how long can an independent promotion survive if those major companies are.
Yeah, and I think a follow-up on that is what's going to happen with these regional promotions. I mean, they're doing their best, but some of them have just had to halt because you're probably renting it from specific, like here in Valdosta, it's run by the city, so they probably have the insurance has got to be crazy too,
right?
On that, so I mean, there's a lot of hanging chads, and I just I think. Again, I hope with everybody else out there, 2021 is going to be just a lot better than 2020.
So let us know. What do you think? Will Thunder Rosa finally sign that contract to AEW?
I think she's going to AEW.
Okay.
She's going to have more freedom. I think they have more freedom with that company than you do WWE.
Gotcha. And then how is the impact? What's the impact of AEW signing these independent wrestler?
I'm wondering what's going to happen to NWA. Nick Aldis is still there. It's still kind of a thing. They're kind of trickling out content. They're still doing the Carneyland. I'm not signed up for it. I don't think you're signed up for it. Used to be consistent. I signed up to their email list. So hey, this thing's going on, or this thing is going on. But you're looking who was the tag team champion up there? Was it James Storm. James Storm.
And he's now.
He's. I mean, there's talk of him going to WWE. And they haven't. No one's been cutting any really promos or. Storylines have all halted, and you've lost all this talent. I think the women's division, and we've discussed this. The women's division, that was probably one of the best women's divisions that I consistently watch between WWE, AEW, and I can't speak for Impact or ROH, but maybe if you talk some of the Japanese promote like New Japan or something, maybe had a stronger one. But NWA had a great storyline, had quality talent,
and that's been gutted.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm wondering. Nick Aldis said power's not gone away, but they've been doing kind of they've shifted filming out to LA. And doing that on Fight TV, like a pay-per-view type thing or a subscription service on there. So
gotta give it to Fight TV for helping indie wrestling stay alive. It may be a solution for some of us in South Georgia.
Well, you have was it Go Wrestling out of Daytona? Well, they've had a streaming service for a while.
Right.
So now it's time for our sponsor, even though during this time of COVID, Corona, whatever you're going on, the music world's been blowing up. That's one thing that's been blowing up right there. And if you're thinking about it yourself, take a look at this week's sponsor, Ben Owens Music.
Hi, this is Dave from the Professors of Wrestling. I'm at 1803 Plum Street, home of Ben Owens Music, where they've got basses, electric guitars, acoustic guitars, violins, keyboards, guitar pedals, amps, instrument repair, guitar, drum, and piano lessons. Learn from the experts. Ben Owens Music, Valdosta's music store.
We're back.
We're back, and it's always great to see the Pink House.
Yes, it is.
And so now we roll into promotions.
Yes.
And first on our list is Spinebuster. And they can't wait to get back to entertaining the crowd. The best fans of indie wrestling, the Spinebuster faithful. Mm-hmm. They have the best dressed GM.
Yeah.
They have Wine Dine 69, Preston.
Yeah.
They have the kid, J2 Strong, Hold My Beer Hansen.
Yeah. They've got a pretty good stable of really good regional talent that are. Right. I really feel bad for them because they were starting to hit, kind of broaden their reach and hitting stuff down in even farther south down in Florida and moving farther up north and occasionally over into Alabama, as tricky as that can be to navigate with their sports commission, but starting to see it grow.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see they've been going up north to Atlanta and working, seeing what they've been up to, and hopefully getting the ring rust off and keeping up their skills. Proc the Croc's been cutting some promos and going up there. Same thing with Hold My Beer. And J2 Strong, Southern Strong Style's been going up there. So I'm really excited to see how they've progressed
when they come back.
Yeah, or when everybody's able to come back. And also, Order 66. I miss seeing those guys.
Yeah. What's up, Duke?
So,
Hector.
yeah, and I think we're excited to get back that partnership we were having with with a couple promotions, and Spinebuster being one of them, since it's our hometown promotion.
Right. Got to support the hometown.
Yes. We go on to SWA.
Southeastern Wrestling Association Revolution 20, November 21st, scheduled at the Peacock Center.
Yes.
They return back to Pavo, Georgia, and the roster looks a little bit different here.
Yes.
We have the SWA Southeastern Champion returning, the Scoundrel, Rod Grimes. The AIWF Southern Middleweight Champion, the King of the Middleweights, Chris Spider. I told you he would be successful in 2020. I just want everyone to check the tapes. I told you Chris Spider would be
wearing a belt.
Yeah. And then you have the AIWF Southern Tag Team Championship, Nightmare Syndicate versus the Kings of Mayhem.
We love the Kings of Mayhem. I mean, that would be a great tag team match to watch.
Yes. And we see Nightmare Syndicate coming back.
Yeah. And of course, the regulars.
Preston Veston.
What's Caliman's little tag team? He's like,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. On there, the Real Deal, Ryan Holland with Dandy Jack is back.
That's exciting.
Yes, it's good to hear that he's back. Be safe, Dandy Jack. We love seeing you aggravate the fans. Hood Star, of course, is going to be there. Dark Rage, Uptown Funk, Southern Assassin, Ryan James, and more to be announced.
So this is the event. If you're in Pavo, Georgia, or the surrounding area, make sure that you're there. November 21st at the Peacock Center.
Yes.
We move on to Georgia Independent Professional Wrestling. This one's tonight. Remember in Macon, Georgia. So November 8th. You have the start time by any chance? Or is
I think 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
I think it would be safe to say, probably.
So you have time if you're in the area and you're listening to our podcast. Head right over to the Thirsty.
If not, this has happened.
This has happened.
Yes.
Mr. Wright will defend his GIPW Heavyweight Championship against former champion, the Baron of Brutality, Tony James.
Yep.
Now, I watched Mr. Wright defend it against Bryce Cannon.
Yeah.
With no problem. I mean, Mr. Wright, I thought he's already beat Skrilla the Great, can take down Bryce Cannon. I'm trying to figure out. I think he's going to go.
Yeah.
This is a good win for him.
Possibly. On there next, we got Luke Stone, who's had some issues, so he will be taking on Big Money John John. I'm not familiar with Big Money John John.
No.
I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of new faces when we're able to go back and be in person with these kind of events right there. So, and then there was a new a new tag team, we've seen Divine Intervention, haven't we?
That one's one of those I can't. Maybe
on that. Jeez. Will be Troy Narova and Wild Thing. No, we haven't seen those people. Wild Thing. I think they're relatively new. Correct. I was thinking of some other wrestler. Take on former number one contenders. What is it? Menagerie, Voodoo Jack, which we've seen, and Scratch.
Nice.
On there. Jay Riley, who was on the tag, and these are always subject to change. Cards always subject to change. Jay Riley is not going to be able to make it. So they found a replacement. Renegade Enforcer will be now taking on debuting Justin Cole White. There. You want to take the rest?
So we have Skrilla made an unscheduled appearance at Rocktoberfest last month and made his case against strong competition. That's why we call him Skrilla the Great. So they decided to book him against someone else who made another strong case for themselves, and it's Sean Angelo Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have to think. We have Skrilla the Great making his way back up to the top of the mountain. How soon do you give him a title shot?
I think it's probably going to have to be the next event they have.
So he wins this one.
You got to. I mean, usually, rematches, the champ gets another shot at it. But is he? Who knows?
We'll see. After heinous actions against Aaron Black, Frat Party has been challenged by Austin Towers to a handicap match. GM Alex Chase tried to convince Austin to use his better judgment, but Towers would accept nothing less.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Frat Party has been making its way all across Georgia.
They've been busy.
And we know that we've seen the power of Austin Towers. So it's going to have to do some real trickery here to take down the tower.
it just depends if it's going to go full frat party or not.
Yeah. A suggestion for Bryce Cannon: please don't drink a White Claw before the match.
No.
Otherwise, same results after you face Mr.
And
Right.
same thing with your compadre there, Eddie Honcho.
Yeah, no White Claws before the match.
Right. And we got Brooklyn Creed, Gia Roman, was it Kaya Dream, in a triple threat match. You won't want to miss this one, according to what they've been typing. We've seen Brooklyn Creed. We saw her
Against Shalandra Royale.
Yeah, and that was a tight match. But the other two girls, I'm not too familiar with. So again, seems like they've got a strong female matchup there, which is we think is really important.
Yeah. On to the North American Wrestling Alliance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting confused with the NWA for a second.
Nah. They are holding their Jingle Brawl on December 19th in Daytona Beach, Ocean Center, Florida.
You can buy tickets on Ticketmaster, and then it's going to be streaming on Fight TV.
Some of the people that just you and I have seen as I was going through their roster,
Yeah.
they have James Storm on it.
Yeah.
They have Storm Thomas. Just as some people that you and I would know, and maybe the people who are listening.
Right. I think they've got on the card, and before we go into this, what is the NAWA? And that is a promotion that was around, in the 80s?
Yeah.
And they were like in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. Independent promotion there, and had connections. If you've watched The Dark Side of the Ring with the UWF, which is Herb Abrams' promotion, they had that whole Who's Herb Abrams' Dark Side of the Ring. So it was a lot of strippers and cocaine and jail time and kind of Ponzi scheme thing going on there. But so that faded away. It had a couple hey, we're here's memorial matches. I don't know if that's the correct way of saying it. And then now I guess within the last 6-7 months, since last spring, they've been kind of advertising the NAWA.
Yeah.
And I guess they've got a lot of familiar names on the card. The British Bulldog Jr., Gangrel, goes back to WCW Nitro days there. How do you pronounce the next one?
Kagas.
Alpha Jr., Lloyd Anoya, the Slambinos. We've seen the Dirty Blondes tag team before. They're out of Tampa. At Spinebuster. Mika and Tracy Taylor, Chase Stevens, Storm Taylor, Showtime Marcel Williams, House of Pain, Ali and Nick Payne, so on and so forth. They're going to have special appearances by Paul Roma, former WWE person. Same thing with Mario Mancini and Cindy Snow, first hardcore female champion in WWE. And Big Guido, former ECW superstar, the godfather of wrestling, who's got ties to NAWA and so on and so forth. If you're interested, go to nawawrestling.com. They also have a Facebook page. Check it all out.
Follow them on their social medias.
So I think I saw you can pre-order their pay-per-view for $10
That's not bad at all.
if you do it right now. So I don't know.
It's going to be a good one. December 19th, Jingle Brawl. Make sure that you check it out.
Yeah.
So something new that we're adding into the whole wrestling is going back and watching old NWA shows. One of the things that you gave us was NWA World Wide Wrestling, and this one's from October 20th, 1984.
Yeah. And it's two shows smashed into one. I think it's the best of
Right.
NWA afterwards, and I'd only watched the first 40-some minutes of it.
And we'll post the link inside for those of you who are curious.
And I think it just to kind of get the sense of wrestling back, because mainly we're watching streaming shows on Fight TV, the GIPW, or anybody that's going to post anything. So
Right.
this is good. So, oh man, I had to do research as I was watching this.
Yeah, some of it I didn't understand. And then going back to one of the things, Starrcade 83 and its impact
Yeah.
to the world wrestling and how the $1 million.
Yeah, I think that was interesting why I picked that one. Is because you start in Starrcade, so you're starting to see the really big blowouts. I think they used to do closed circuit TV before pay-per-view was kind of a thing.
Right.
So it was a big deal, and I think Greensboro, South Carolina.
North.
Was it North Carolina? I think it was Greensboro, South Carolina.
Oh.
Well, fact check us on that. Did we botch that one? But I think it's South Carolina because I've been to a conference at that place. But anyway, so first match. You just want to go ahead and start on the first match here?
Brian Adidas versus Jason Walker.
Yes. Can I put an asterisk on this? Because I'm like, I want to see who the jobbers were. And this one, I'm kind of giving it away right now.
Okay.
But Brian trained with the Fitz Von Erich, so he's Texas based. So the whole Von Erich family and tied to that thing. So he spent most of his time in Texas. And also, I want to say he's billed as Brian Adidas, but he's Brian Adias.
Oh.
So they botched that one on NWA. So,
Dang.
What were your takes on this one?
It was very technical to start. I think throughout you'll see as we go through this, grappling was a huge thing. No high flying.
No.
It's there were some techniques that I didn't think were possible, like Brian. I guess it's Adias.
Yeah.
How he stayed in the middle of the ring, and the commentator was talking about how that kept him off the ropes.
Yeah.
Against who was it? I got his name. Jason Walker, who was kept attempting to stop the match. And so that was pretty cool to see that was a technique that was used.
I think it was interesting. This is like a historical time capsule. You look at this and you see how promotions were trying to build up certain wrestlers and how other wrestlers were being used as enhancement talent on here. So they're trying to build up Walker to be challenged for whatever belt, whether it be like Intercontinental belt or TV title or anything along that lines. And you bring in these people who are solid wrestlers, have solid background skills, such as Brian, into this. Because I think it was overall, I felt it was very one-sided to Walker.
What do you mean?
Like it just seemed like he was always on the offense, and it seemed that Brian was on the defense while watching this.
Man, I messed this up. Yeah. Because I thought Brian Adidas was the one who won.
No, I said it's is it? Gee.
Because he's the one who.
Okay, you're right. I'm mixing this up. I'm also looking at but the wins with like the sleeper hold.
Right, he wins with the sleeper hold. And with that, it was a lot different than because normally they give you the 3.
Yeah.
But this one was just a 1 and drop. If it dropped.
And you never see that. And I'm sorry, I totally botched that. I'm glad we caught. I think that's why I looked at who this person was. I watched this about a week ago. Anyway, on there, Walker, solid.
Yeah.
Flip that.
Walker, solid.
Solid. We'll keep it. Let's keep it in there.
Okay.
But how often do you see like the sleeper hold? Because you would always see that back in the day. Is like someone like Hulk Hogan would Hulk up when the sleeper would be put on.
Right. And I thought that was, it was a deadly sleeper.
Yeah.
In a sense, so within seconds, Walker sold it.
Moves on to anything else about that one?
No, I just thought it was just the idea, that technique of just staying in the middle of the ring to have that defensive stat. And the suplexes. You saw that montage of suplexes.
Yeah.
Really took a lot of strength from there.
It was this old school mat wrestling in a lot of ways.
Right. Paul Jones with the full tux coming right after.
Yeah. Ruffle. Like he's going to prom.
Yeah.
On there, I think the Manny Fernandez or the were you talking about like the contact signing?
It was right before. So Paul Jones came out first.
Okay.
To talk about Assassin 1.
Yeah.
I think that's what I put, Assassin 1. And then you had the Raging Bull, Manny Fernandez, come out.
Okay.
And I thought that whole promo of got to make sure that you read the contract.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was wrestling contracts, but there's probably.
Well, obviously this is
right,
because Don Kernodle
and Ivan
Koloff.
Yeah.
Were apparently, allegedly, and I've been watching this series as it drops along, so I got a little bit of like backstory. They've been like going after less than par talent, allegedly, according to the announcers of the show.
Yeah, I think with this one, wrestlers really wanted to influence that worldwide aspect. That hey, we're worldwide wrestlers. We're not just in this one place like NWA and everyone. Of that sense of it's a worldwide event.
Other than when you watch these old timey, I got a sense of like it was. I want to say it's a simpler time because I think that's an easy cop out. But everything was very black and white. You're either good or you're bad. As compared to now, you have like faces and heels, and then there's this gray area where you see people, and within those kind of rules, where you hear people, traditionalist wrestling people, say there are certain rules like faces can do this, heels can do this, so on and so forth. You're really seeing that whole unwritten rules of wrestling tradition and the importance of it as Manny Fernandez and who his tag team partners,
American
Dream, Dusty Rhodes,
Yeah.
like are the faces at this time, and obviously Kernodle and Koloff obviously being Russian
on their Unity tour.
Yes. What do you think of the Mike Rotundo versus Rocky King? Did I jump ahead too far?
There was some stuff in the middle, but we'll get to it.
Go to it. I'm sorry.
It was the whole promotion for Starrcade '84. It was a month away at this time.
Yeah.
And what was cool about it is you see Jim Crockett go to the bank and they're putting $1 million on the table.
Yeah.
And me, I've never seen $1 million on the table, but maybe you have.
I worked at a casino.
So, what was cool about the $1 million? It's a challenge between Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
And the ref was going to be Joe Frazier.
Yes.
And I thought, wow. So you see Ric Flair hop out of this. I don't even know what you would call this car.
I think. Hold on, we're jumping ahead here. I think.
It came because it was a long promo before this Mike Rotundo.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was long.
All right. Go ahead.
Gotcha.
Hey, this is the first time we've done this. There's going to be some hiccups.
But it was Ric Flair. He was styling, profiling, hopping out, saying, "Hey, he just won the championship. He's gonna maintain." At this time, Dusty Rhodes has already won 2 NWA championships, and 2 Titans on stage for mutual respect for each other.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty important. And how it ended. Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble.
Yes.
And you just see Ric Flair walk off.
I think when going on this is the time capsule is before that. There's the spot show commercials like in Columbus, Georgia, like this, or was it Lynchburg, Tennessee, Lynchburg, Virginia, or something like that at the UA, VFW hall. So and so is going to be so that was cool. No, at the Lynchburg Armory. Ivan Koloff, and then you've got all the promos with the Ivan Nikita Koloff in there too.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this kind of like the Soviet assassin, if the Soviet assassin spoke and used the Russian accent within there. I thought the Starrcade '84 promo just like, and you get the laser beams going on there, and you think of like Tron or like early arcade games, video graphics going on. I was like waiting for a DeLorean to pull up.
That'd be nice.
Within there, I thought it's so funny when they showed the montage of like the bank.
Yeah.
Where they're cutting through it, and it's got that 80s synthesizer music in there. It's like, I don't mean that's a terrible impersonation of it, but it's like everything reminiscent of 80s as far as like the lady with the big puffy shoulders and the bow, the bank lady on there. Oh my! And Jim Crockett is so atonal in his delivery; it just cracks me up.
It was definitely a high class promo.
And I would say he's talking about how Starrcade '83 was a high point and how great it was.
I mean, it made Greensboro, as they said, the Mecca became the Mecca of wrestling after Starrcade '83.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, what's the Mecca of wrestling now? Could you say there's a Mecca?
I guess it depends on which promo you're following. It seems to be somewhere in Florida. So if you're in AEW, you'd probably say Jacksonville right now. And if you're WWE, you'd say what, Orlando?
Yeah.
So I guess it depends on which promotion you tend to support, right? Or MLW is based out of Miami, I believe.
That one I'm not sure of. I haven't followed that one.
So, but man, I love the Starrcade '83 montage with the inspirational music, very circa Karate Kids.
Yeah.
If Ralph Macchio in there, the cash being stacked in there, the hyping it up, $1 million challenge. cut to more inspirational music. Like this is like production value. Like it was like it was just really like whoever was on the director of it, the producer of it, was like, this is just everything is like, this is going to motivate you, and very much into that greed is good 80s kind of mentality of like, think of Wall Street and Gordon Gekko type thing, which would just kind of flash me back up there. And you see Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes coming up there and their speeches and the crowd going crazy.
It's something, I would compare this to when it was J2 Strong coming back. Well, not like that of that magnitude, but something similar of J2 Strong coming back to face Hunter Mako and how they did their own press conferences. You don't see huge press conferences these days for...
No, I kind of like that. I thought that was, it was good. Maybe when things start going back to where everybody can go back to things, start hype, you got to use the internet to kind of hype stuff up, get interest of it, because a lot of storylines have... people have forgotten them or maybe gone to the way of the wayside for whatever reason.
Yeah. So, you were talking about Mike Rotundo versus Rocky King.
Yes.
And this is where one of those, I think you mentioned it in the whole Brian Adidas thing of how someone's always trying to build someone up. So you see, even in the commentators, everyone's a young lion.
Yeah.
This is a young lion. This is a young bull. He's getting up there. And it's like, just to make that fan perspective at home know.
Right. Because I think Mike Rotundo then later teams up with Scott Steiner in NWA, and I forget something squad, varsity squad or something like that. Because Steiner was a Michigan wrestler, Mike Rotundo went to Syracuse. They're always talking about a Syracuse background, all this stuff. So he's building it up, and Young Lions is very much a reference to young wrestlers in Japan, building them up. So I thought, again, dominated by Mike, the one they're building up in this.
Crowd wasn't into it at
No.
times. You even could hear at times boring.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you don't really... well, yes, you hear fans now get out there and talk, but I don't think they were just like that. I think the height of this match was the end, where people got excited for the airplane spin.
I was just like, I went back and watched that again. I'm like, the finish was an airplane spin into a body slam.
Yeah.
But all these are like just straight up. You can't say not pin right in the middle of the ring, which is, again, you hear traditionalists go, you never see straight up wins. But again, this is part. The TV show was to hype you to get to go to the spot shows or get you ready for Starrcade.
Right.
So it's not like today where I think we're spoiled, where we're going to see big name matches. We would see Eddie Kingston versus a John Moxley like AEW had back then. You wouldn't see Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant on a WWE thing. That's a special thing.
Yeah. One thing that I thought would be cool, and I think you mentioned it, to incorporate for wrestling is the commercials for events that month. Like, I know it's us who tell everyone, like, hey, here's the events that are going on this month.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really cool if you had, like, a commercial that you could run up, say, hey, come out to this event here and here. Like, just run it. So, like, start, I guess, the month before.
Yeah.
And say, here's the events that are going on. I think that'd be pretty cool for wrestling.
Like you had the Kevin, a young, what's his name? He did announcing. He did all the. He's like, I'm sitting here with Ivan Karloff, and we're getting ready for the probably screaming it. I should know this. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up real fast. You talk about the next one while I look this up.
The next one we saw American Starship. And I think I have that one being like they were some of the first tall giants that you saw of the night in this first 48 minutes. And I thought their opponents stood no chance. In this moment, you saw the big boots. You saw them going through. You got it?
Yeah. Keep talking. I'll jump in.
And you saw with this force of a tag team. Tag teams at this point. Really, there was no hot tags. It was, here's my opponent, and here's where we're going to go. Straight up wrestling.
Eagle and Coyote.
Yeah.
They're American Starship. And I didn't even write down the other people's names. I just wrote jobbers.
Yeah, because American Starship was there. I mean, they were there to, again, prove their dominance throughout.
And to go back to the previous finishes, this is a submission hold, much like the sleeper.
Right.
And it's not. They're not giving away all the big moves. They're saving that for. One, I don't think it was high flying was not such a big deal. You didn't see that still, like kind of like luchadors came in or new Japanese people coming over, but very traditional full Nelson. I was not expecting a full Nelson submission.
It's something to think about.
Yes.
What was the
Tony Schiavone doing all the promo spots on like Lynchburg, Tennessee. We'll be at the Lynchburg Armory, like that. So
yeah, if you all think that'd be something to do for 2021 as a way to announce events coming up, like a commercial, to run through on videos, let us know.
Yeah,
I think that'd be something. Manny Fernandez versus Doug Vines. This one was quick. Like Manny Fernandez was barely out there for 5 minutes.
I think what is it? Manny Fernandez comes out to beat it, I believe.
Yeah.
Which, like I guess if you're streaming this on the network, they're gonna take that out. But we were streaming it on the YouTubes there. But I just put Manny Fernandez versus jobber Doug Vines.
Yeah.
Solid jobber. I think. Here's some side notes. Doug Vines. Doug Vines is just the jobber, moved into insurance after retiring from wrestling. So that was an interesting factoid, thanks to the internet. And again, pretty solid mat. I don't know if you call it mat wrestling. Reverse chin lock, and stands him up into a flying body cross to the pin in the middle of the ring.
Gotta finish in the middle. Do you think, and I guess this goes back to where we are now with wrestling, would we ever see the return of submission holds being, like now it's 1, 2, 3 to pin, but you don't see a lot of submissions in that.
Which of the Punkadelics?
Maverick?
No, they were always like, you submitted up in Pavo.
Oh, the Punk. Oh, got it. So then that was it was Vinny.
Yeah.
Vinny was great. Vinny was great at submissions.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I think, is it hard? Do you think it's possible to go back and bring some of those back into vogue?
It'd have to be creative. You have to find a way to work into it. You don't want, I guess when people saw, let's take some examples, Kurt Angle with the Angle lock.
Right.
Yes, you want it to win, but you don't want it to win every single time. Or Ric Flair.
The figure 4.
It's doable, but you gotta.
Was it Chris Jericho's The Lion Tamer?
Walls of Jericho, or I guess is that the official name, or
I don't know. Maybe that's what I remember when he was in WCW. Was The Lion Tamer? It may move to the Walls of Jericho or whatever, but yeah.
But it's something to think about in terms of wrestling. Of how far, what will it take to go back to see more use the submission hold? Do you think that goes against? I guess if you're an up and coming wrestler, do you want to be known as someone who submits a lot?
I think a lot of young wrestlers look to see what's going on and what's popular in the promotions. And so you look at like a Young Bucks or Kenny Omega or like anything like the only throwback wrestlers you see is FTW.
And
they're not FTW anymore, but they were in WWE and they just signed to AEW and they went against the Young Bucks. That was like the Young Bucks versus FTW, while they're in both different promotions, or while the Young Bucks were, I think, in ROH and New Japan, and they finally had that match in the AEW pay-per-view the other night. So there's a few people that think of like Arn Anderson and like old Four Horsemen stuff and like that throwback traditional in wrestling, and the argument why you shouldn't, and I've cringed sometimes when I've seen young talent do crazy stuff, like just like super high ladder stuff, death match things. I'm like, we're in Valdosta, Georgia. You want to make a memorable moment and everything like that, but at what point when you you can't be getting paid that much? You know, this is not AEW money. This is not WWE money. This is not FU money you're making here.
The hot dogs are worth it.
Yeah. So your soda, your Doritos, and your hot dog is at end of the day.
Remember to tell the story, as good old Preston once said. Tell the story.
So I don't know. I would like to see a mix of that. I don't think you just rely on that.
Right. It's something.
So, and then we go into another spot show. I had Tony Schiavone written later in my notes here because I was like, he was young. I'm like, anyway, on that Lynchburg Assassin #1.
Yes.
And then Mike Rotundo comes out. This is my notes. Flat.
Waving the flag.
Yeah.
America. The one of the things that I guess you see in this, everyone was wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Like outside of what is it, Ivan Koloff?
Unless you were going into a match or something.
Right. Everyone's wearing a suit.
I appreciate that. I think I watch, like, you watch old NFL films or whatever, NFL film stuff, and you see, like, everybody like, in the 60s and you know, wearing a suit. It looks smart when you see, like European football coaches wearing a suit. It just looks like smart. You're in charge of stuff, and versus the Bill Belichick with, like, the shabby thing and, like I just cut it off. And, like, dude, you'd wear that to the gym.
Right.
But what do you think?
I thought it was pretty cool to see the suits. I mean, it made it seem like it was more press conference-like versus your in-ring attire. So if you're ready to cut that promo, you're going in, and people are going to respect it.
Yeah. It's like it's your job.
Right. So I thought that was cool.
Well, then we got another... versus Ivan Koloff promoting that one, I guess, for the Lynchburg show.
Yeah, a lot of... I know you said it's 2 shows combined. But
Yeah.
a lot of promotions or a lot of promos were cut
Yeah.
through it.
I think what they used to do, and this is just from listening to a million podcasts, is they would obviously do the wrestling stuff in studio wherever they did it up in Atlanta, and then you would come in early and shoot promos for, we're going to be in Lynchburg, we're going to be in Greensboro, we're going to be in Columbus, we're going to be in Augusta, we're going to be in Macon. So they would just cut promos specifically for that market.
Gotcha.
Next, tag team. What is it? The Zambia Express. And I have jobbers, Mike Jackson and Steve Miller.
Stood no chance.
And that...
They were...
Go ahead. I was just putting my finger down so I don't forget my spot.
They were like huge. They were like the Express was. I couldn't see anyone topping them.
So this is like, you think like a tag team of this size would be more memorable?
Yeah.
Did a little bit of background on it. They were only around for a year, so I think they went from 83 to 84, maybe early into 85, and then kind of like went their kind of separate ways with that. Paul Jones, great manager. But I don't know, when you watched it, did you see, I mean, they were just big dudes. I didn't see any kind of like magic or spark. Like if you look at like Hawk and Animal, there was definite energy there. When you look at like Frat Party or some Strong Style, you see there's a chemistry there working together. I just didn't get that feeling. They're just 2 big guys who are gonna
maul you over.
Yeah.
And that'll be the end of it. Yeah, that's all I got from it.
Okay. Then we go to another promo. Wahoo McDaniel and Tully Blanchard.
Good old Tully.
What were you think? What'd you think?
With Tully Blanchard, I had to go back and look it up because I thought I was hearing the name wrong. I thought I was like, who's Tony Blanchard? I kept typing that, but solid mic skills throughout, and I was like, huh.
Well, he was tag team partners with Arn Anderson.
And then
He was in the Four Horsemen.
dang.
And he's now in AEW as like a coach.
You see them grow, and I wonder if young wrestlers now go back and look at these old matches and see, well, yeah, you're coaching me, but what have you done?
Yeah.
Granted, I don't think anyone's going to say that to their coach.
Right.
But I think it's cool to go back and see, man, you were that guy.
What I find interesting is when you watch old promos and you hear the experts, and we're not experts, we're just fans, and it's just observational. It's like you hear the talking head say, promo skills are super important. Back in the day, everybody cut great promos. And you watch, and I watch these old, NWA shows or, all the old promotions when I'm just at home, just something different to get my mind off of what's going on and because I'm just going to the live events. But like some of the promos cut by these big names who get heralded as like great promos, I'm like, this is great. I'm not that impressed. I mean, obviously Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes are great at it. I think Paul Jones is great at it. I mean, there's a lot of good talkers, but there's also not a lot of good talkers. They're great in the ring, just not good talkers.
Do you think you take it with, you have to look at it in context, like, of that era? Like, you have to imagine this as in 84 compared to everything else that's going around. Is this a good promo? Or do you take it out of that year and even compare it to now?
I think I take it in the context as you hear, I'm not going to name names, you could probably insert them, certain people who say romanticize about, like, big names of the time. Were great. And good talkers, and, like, it's like, you probably saw that as a kid, or maybe you were in it, and then you haven't watched it in a while, and then you go back and you watch it, and you remember it as being better than it is. It's like maybe you have a great meal at a restaurant, and you're like, oh, it's great, and you go back and you're like, maybe it was just the right time and right place,
right?
And it just maybe the right chef that night. But it's people are, I think too, is like trying to relive the experience they had back then, and so maybe we build it up as be, it's so much better. Wrestling is so much better. It's not better or worse. It's just different.
Gotcha.
So the context of it is maybe some of the standards today are expectations, but how the hype behind it is, like, you go, these people, and
makes sense.
What do you think?
I think it's I think I look at it and say, I think you have to define it by, for me, I have to define it by era. Because it's almost like sports in terms of when they say the Steelers and the Steel Curtain was the best team of that time.
Right.
And here's why, and no one could compare. So that's why I look at it in terms of what was going on at that time.
I think I would be I'm just talking straight talking. I think wrestling you can't compare because it was a different style and whatnot. But I think if you're talking about talking and promo skills,
yeah,
I think that transcends it, because I think, like, really Muhammad Ali set the standard
for talking,
and I think, like, maybe Gorgeous George and other people that he took from as well. I think, like, that becomes timeless versus, like, what was appropriate. Like, you don't see a lot of, like, you see a lot of topes and high flying. You didn't see so much when you saw, like, maybe coming off the second rope. Not so much the third rope was very rare.
right.
So I think comparing those skills, I agree with you. But I think talking, if you're the really good talker, and even more now than ever, is being a good talker. Or pardon me, then was more than ever, because everything was based, like, they weren't on salary. It's like how many people showed up. So if you talk a ton and persuade a bunch of people through your talking to go to the Lynchburg Armory, the more people there, it means the more you're going to make.
Right.
Depending on where you're sitting, even no matter where you're at, depending on where you're at the card, is what I'm trying to say.
Makes sense.
I don't know. Just a take.
A take.
I don't know. That was this show.
That was something. That was something to watch. I look forward to seeing the next one that you do.
You want me to send you another one?
Yeah, you let us know what you think of those of you who are listening at this point. Let us know what you think. We'll leave the link to the episode in the description.
Yeah.
Some final thoughts to wrap on. Make sure that you're supporting your local indie wrestling. GIPW is still going. SWA is back in November.
Yeah.
At the Peacock Center.
Yes.
If you're in Daytona, make sure you check out NAWA.
I think Go Wrestling too. We didn't talk about them, but they're going along.
Yes, support our favorite student, El Nino.
Yep.
And then if you have a chance, head over to Spinebuster. See, I wonder if they're still selling shirts.
Yeah.
Make sure that,
Send your local, here we go, just bottom line, send your local promotion a love. So, hey man, thinking about you. I think that goes a long way.
I'm Dorrian. You can find me on social media at D2Baber.
I'm Dave, and Just a Professor.
We are the Professors of Wrestling, and we just want to remind you, we want to be Taco Bell famous, so subscribe to our YouTube page. We are now working on new content for 2020 and 2021. Like the Facebook page, let us know what you think and provide us with feedback and suggestions. Follow us on Instagram at the Professors of Wrestling as we bring you more content. And share it all, spread the word, and join the community.
Most definitely.